Wow. What do you say when you don't know what to say? Bears lose to the Cardinals. I actually don't know what the final score is because there's about 4 or 5 minutes left when I started recording this, but they're down by 20, so probably not going to win this one. Yeah. I'm hitting the panic button here. This is bad. This is really bad. So the Bears get blown out by the Arizona Cardinals, a team that a lot of people in the fan base felt that we were a lot better than. This is pretty clearly a Cardinals team that's playing above their roster, and this is pretty clearly a Bears team that's playing below their roster. I thought the Cardinals would win, and the Cardinals did win. So yeah, after last week, there was a lot of people saying, "Why is everyone acting like the season is over? It's not over. We're 4-3." Last week wasn't so much the "oh no, we lost, the season is over," so much as it was, "oh no, our coaches suck. Now the season is over." This was another game that we can't afford to lose, just like the Commanders game was. And we went out there and we lost. So, this team, like, we're getting blown out by the Cardinals. And so, I'm sick right now, so my voice probably doesn't sound super great. The Bears are really doing this to me right now. I'm sick, and today's the 8-year anniversary of the Cubs winning the World Series. You go out there and do that to me? How dare you? That game sucked. So today, the defense, what happened? What happened to the defense? They got gashed by the run game, and so we were without many starters. And I thought this would be a very offensive heavy game because the Cardinals defense isn't great. So we are missing Montez Sweat and Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon, and Terrell Smith got hurt during the game, and Andrew Billings did. But good God, dude. Just cannot stop the run. We got gashed all game long, which is whatever. They have an excuse. They're injured. It's fine. It's not fine. But the offense, God, that was so frustrating because honestly, I really have a hard time putting this on Caleb. And I've been critical of Caleb this year, especially the first few weeks of the year when he was, to put it mildly, struggling. This game, he was making great reads. He was making great decisions. His downfield accuracy was finally starting to show up. And God, either getting awful drops from wide receivers, especially Keenan Allen, man. What happened to Keenan Allen? So slow down the field, can't bring in the catches that are hitting him, and just, but it's fine. And Rome Odunze had a drop as well that was unbelievable. But Caleb, it was either the wide receivers were dropping or whatever was happening. The bigger issue was penalties, taking away a lot of big plays early on in the game. And then the offensive line. Oh, the offensive line. Good Lord. I don't know how many times Caleb Williams got sacked. I think it had to have been at least 6 or 7. Because that dude was running for his life all day long. And Caleb isn't the type that stands in the pocket forever like Fields did. No, this is literally just free runners are coming up and just pummeling him. And the offensive line is just basically watching guys go around them. And I don't even know how much blame I can put on the offensive line considering most of the guys are injured. I mean, it's already a bad O-line. It's a bad O-line now that's also injured. So now it's like double as bad. It's like double suck. It's horrible. And Caleb got lit up all game long, but the guys that were in, like Donald Wright got hurt late in the game and got taken out, which is probably for the best because I think he's been hurt all season. But the guy that came in to replace him, I'd literally never heard of that man in my life, and I know this Bears roster inside and out. At least I thought I did. I don't know who that guy was. He comes in. We had Pryor in, who's the backup because Nate Davis got benched. Larry Borum was in at left tackle because Braxton Jones got hurt, which left Coleman Shelton and Tevin Jenkins in. Like, we have no good offensive linemen except, like, I want to say Tevin, but he's been awful all year. So, yeah, Bears offense was just frustrating because early on I was like, wow, Caleb is looking like a beast. Because he was slinging. Like, that dude was looking so good to start the game. Like, making great reads, making amazing throws, being super elusive. And it just felt like the team was just letting him down at every turn. And then later on in the game, the O-line just gave up, and it was just nonstop pressure. Just nothing that could be done there. Like, I thought after the first quarter we were about to see another Caleb Williams 300-yard game. Instead, we saw another Caleb Williams game that we saw versus the Texans, except without any interceptions, just getting lit up all game long. I'm just really, really frustrated with this team right now because we are only 2 weeks away from our big divisional gauntlet super showdown that we have to go through the last 8 weeks of the year. And, yeah, I don't think we're going to win very many of those. We were supposed to, you have to beat the Cardinals, man. Like, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to win this game. This roster is not only not playing well, they're not coached well, and they're just so injured. You got Tyreek Stevenson rotating in and out, who wasn't even supposed to. He didn't start the game, but after one drive, he was in the game. So, like, nice punishment. It was pretty clear that Tyreek got a lot of flack for the game last week, but they kind of needed him without so many defensive starters, and he went in there and he was fine. I really had high hopes for this Bears team going into the year, but this was pretty much what my worst fear was, which was that the incompetence would eventually come through, and that's what we saw today. Just when we went down at halftime, I don't remember what the score was, but I was like, oh, this is probably going to... I never felt the Bears were going to lose until we got about halfway towards the end of the third quarter. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, man, they're really not doing anything. They're not stopping them at all. Okay, cool. I guess we lose now. So, yeah, I'm panicking here. It felt like a lot of... This is not going to bode well for the locker room, who not only just had to spend the last week living through one of the most brutal losses in Bears history, losing on a Hail Mary. I mean, by all means, this team should have been coming in with a 5-2 record, but we were 4-3. And you got no momentum coming in. You got to hear about that from the media, who was playing that clip of the Hail Mary over and over and over again. And then you come in today, there's questions about how there were rumors that the Bears players were wanting the coaches to have more accountability, and like just things aren't looking great in that department. And then you go out there and you just get smacked by a team that I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. The Cardinals are 4-4 and have had some bad games. They've had good games, but they're not ready yet. They're still cooking. They're what the Bears probably were last year, and they just went out and they demolished the Bears. Like, it's one thing if this were a close loss, but this was just And I'm sure Eberflus is gonna have all the excuses with how injured this team was, but somebody's got to answer for this, man, because this is awful. You can't just blame injuries for this. I mean, God, the defense is just looking terrible. Like, James Conner just killed him all game long. And it's really frustrating because I really thought better of this Bears team. I really thought that this Bears team would make the playoffs. I thought we'd be able to contend with the rest of the NFC North. No, we're going to be last in the North. We're not going to make the playoffs. And these next 8 weeks after the Patriots game, which, by the way, if you don't win the Patriots game, like, come on. Like, what are we even doing at this point? You got to win that one. And then after that, we're going to get slaughtered, especially by the Lions. Like, good God. The Lions are going to be better than us. The Packers are going to be better than us. The Vikings are probably going to blitz the ever-living Christ out of us because, good God, have you seen that O-line? I just hope Caleb doesn't get injured because, like, you can't be taking sacks at a rate like this. And they're not even his fault. They're just, you can only do so much is all I'm saying. And I really thought, despite all of that, I really thought Caleb was doing all right. I mean, he definitely got rattled towards the end, but who wouldn't? Just, yeah, and this is what I didn't want to have happen this year. I really didn't want it to be another Bears draft the quarterback and then fire the coach after the rookie season, restart everything. That's why I wanted Flus fired back in January, man. But they kept him. And they hired Shane Waldron, who's been whatever. But it's looking like Flus is going to be gone. I don't know what Poles is going to do at the deadline now, because this was the last game before the deadline. I imagine he'll bring somebody in, maybe send Herbert away, because Herbert wasn't even active today. What's even the point, bro? It's just, it's so pathetic, man. So, yeah, now we got the Patriots next week. I think we'll win, maybe. If we are back at 500 now. We're 4-4. And, yeah, this team sucks, bro. This team is just not good. And there's just so many internal problems, external problems. The locker room is a sinking ship at this point. It really does feel like they're going to just give up here. This was a game that Flus could not have happened if he wanted to keep his job and keep the locker room fighting for him, especially going into the toughest stretch of the season. And, yeah, so we'll see what happens, I suppose. You guys will hear from me after the trade deadline with whatever happens. I'll make a video. But, yeah, God, Bears are bad once again. Who could have seen this coming?